Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a twin flame union reading. So it's a reading for the connection. I have two sides that I'm going to be talking about. I'm not going to put labels on which side is the feminine or the masculine. I'll just leave that up to you to fit yourself into whatever side resonates with you more. So let's get started here with the overall context. Also keep in mind that it could also be a reading about union within self as well. So always keep that in mind. So bottom of the deck energy, we have the navel chakra, which is the sacral, and the tunnels. So it's talking to me about like moving forward with something, some sort of like creative project or like creativity in general. But I feel like here that in sort of like this alignment energy, there are sort of like, you have here the friction and the two of birds coming out. So this card talks to me about like energies that are not in alignment. It's kind of like the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, that kind of thing. It's kind of feeling like there's like because it's kind of feeling like two energies that are not cooperating, not necessarily out of like because the cooperation is not wanted. It's more so just feeling like there's two energies that are trying to figure out how to work together, how to cooperate is kind of how it's coming through. Like this partnership is sort of like each person is focused on their own goals. Is kind of how it's feeling like, or their own whatever. So it's kind of like the energy is just not being perhaps used in a way that is in alignment with one another is kind of how it's feeling. So it's kind of, so with the friction card coming out beside that, it's like there may be sort of like uncomfortable energies here because it's kind of like both sides of this equation are not working towards the same goal is how I'm going to put it, like working towards different goals, but it does feel like that is coming together. It's just kind of like in that process, there's a bit of friction, which just talks to me about like having to polish your mirror a little bit, having to like put some effort into whatever this thing is. So that's the overall context. It feels kind of like working on some sort of creation together, right? So it kind of, so anyways, one side of the reading here. So we have here the kindness card and the mask. So this person's energy here. You're also coming out with the dream and the brow chakra. So this individual may be working with dream energy and with the third eye as well, like receiving downloads or intuitions about what the next step may be or something like that. It kind of feels like this person here with the kindness, it's also coming out with memories. So there's a lot of past energy on this side. So somebody may be looking to past memories of some sort, but with a lot of kindness and love. So it could be something like looking at a past energy or past situation or whatever the memories are with a lot of kindness, especially if it's something like some memory that was difficult or painful or from a difficult or painful time in your life. It's like looking back on that time with kindness and self-compassion. Because I feel like there's something here about like this kind of feels like whoever's in this space is kind of in like a pause or an integrating kind of energy where it's like looking to the past or integrating something from the past And it kind of feels like with the next cards coming out next here with the mask and the elixirs, it's kind of like whoever this person is has gotten to this point here where it's like there's a challenge ahead is kind of how it's feeling for them. Both of these cards were coming in with this energy of like theater, of like a play, and they both sort of talk about like, well, the elixirs card talks about like in theaters or in play writing, I should say, sometimes there's like a plot that becomes like really, really complicated. And so one method in playwriting is called the Deus Ex Machina, which talks about like sort of like a moment where God or like a divine energy comes in and sort of like solves all the problems, right? Which is not sort of a realistic or satisfying kind of resolution. So there's something here about like, I feel like there's some sort of problem that feels really complicated, like some sort of like challenge or just like a complex energy or like some sort of problem that has become really challenging. And it's like there's someone here who's perhaps like hoping for some sort of elixir, right? Like something that'll just come in and solve all the problems. I feel like that's sort of like that's sort of why this energy is in sort of a pause of like looking to the past, or like it's kind of like I don't want to use the word escaping or escapism, but that's sort of how it feels. That may be how other people may be perceiving this, is kind of like an escapism kind of energy, but it feels kind of like, to me, more of like a, if we're gonna be kind here, it's more of sort of an energy of like gathering strength, right? Like gathering strength, taking a moment to pause and collect oneself and to like it's kind of like a replenishing your energy in order to prepare oneself for what's ahead is kind of what's coming through here. Because what you have, so I feel like whoever this person is knows that there's not going to be sort of like a fix-all sort of elixir that comes in, but it's kind of like whatever it is that they're having to move towards or go towards is kind of like a big challenge here with the mask. It kind of feels like having to adopt some sort of new identity kind of energy, like explore some aspect of self that perhaps is that needs more development perhaps, and it's kind of like or that is just not a comfortable expression of self is how this is feeling. But anyway, so for this energy, you're starting off here with the tarot. We have the Three of Wands and the Peacemaker. So the Three of Embers, right? This one looks to me like having to, like getting some sort of intuitive download or something of having to make a decision or move towards something or that kind of thing that perhaps was manifested in some way. Sorry, I was gonna sneeze. But anyway, so here this is talking to me about like I feel like there is some sort of solution coming in. That's sort of how it feels like, or something that's like pulling this person out of sort of like the memories that they've been sitting in is kind of how it's feeling, like the pause energy. It's pulling them out of this. With the Peacemaker, this is the King of Cups. So it is, this is sort of coming in with that elixir energy, but it's kind of like this is not a fix-all is how this is coming through. It's kind of just like a little bit of courage is kind of how it's feeling in order to help this person to move forward or like to take whatever step is necessary, because the next couple of cards here You have here the Seven of Birds. So this one talks about a long journey, right? Like it's kind of like, okay, whoever this person is has been sitting in sort of like the past memories or something, perhaps doing integration, perhaps gathering strength, but it's kind of like it's time for them to move forward with some sort of like solving some sort of like big problem or challenge that's ahead of them. And it's like, it is a long journey. It's kind of like this peacemaker energy is coming in to sort of like give a little strength or like a pep talk or like a, like you can do this kind of energy, whatever this is, because whatever it is ahead does feel kind of like a long journey, or like it's because the next card is the Four of Wands, the Four of Embers. So it is a step up, right? Here with the 3 to the 4, but it's kind of like in order to get to the next step, it's going to be a long journey, if that makes sense. It's like the traveling, so to speak, from point A to point B is a long journey, but it is sort of like you are moving forward is how this is feeling like. I love this Four of Wands so much because it does feel kind of like it's also feeling kind of like I always see this card as sort of like a sanctuary or like a refuge from the storm, that kind of energy. So this person may be in that kind of energy of like seeking a refuge. It could be something like they're already on the journey, but it's kind of like they're taking a time out or a pause in order just to like gather strength or to like wait out the storm so that they can continue forward. That's sort of how the energy is coming through. So it's kind of like the universe may have put this person in sort of like a cocoon kind of energy, cocoon of the past, in order to help them to gather strength before the next step happens, if that makes sense. I feel like here, you have the Weaver card coming out next. This talks about manifestation, like creating some sort of manifestation. I feel like whoever is on this journey is trying to manifest some sort of solution from a difficult problem. With the Nine of Wands coming out next. So again, this is feeling like the challenge, right? I sometimes see this card as being sort of like the climax of a story where it's kind of like all of the events have led to this sort of significant challenge or moment. It's like, it's that kind of thing. But again, and the Peacemaker came out like just on top of this, where it's kind of coming through to me as, again, like, it's not a fix-all. It's kind of like whatever this challenge is, there's sort of like an energy here of just like giving you enough strength to push through whatever this challenge is with the Nine of Wands. I feel like there's also this energy, because what you have next here is the past lives. Again, so much past energy, and the maze, where again, it does feel kind of like somebody's trying to get out of the maze. It also feels kind of like so this is in this deck, these cards are named a bit differently. This is the Death card, so some sort of transition, and the Maze, which is the Temperance card, which talks about patience, but it was also coming through as being like compromise, because I feel like there's someone here who is perhaps trying to manifest kind of like again, like the perfect solution, when it may not be a perfect solution. That's what this is coming through. It's not going to be a perfect solution. It's kind of just like a compromise, because it's like this person needs to get out of the maze, if that makes sense. They're in a maze. They're in a maze. It kind of feels like they're in sort of like the temporary sort of like refuge, like taking a break or taking like a pause in order to gain strength again, in order to push through whatever this challenge is. So that's one person's energy. And you have the Eight of Trees here, which talks about like this is the Eight of Pentacles. But to me, this always feels kind of like a community, or like going out into the community kind of energy. So it may be something like looking for what you need, right? It's kind of like, again, having to like go out and look for what you need, because it feels like whatever it is that whatever it was that was trying to be manifested, it's kind of like it's coming in like different components. It's not like a fix all. It's just like steadily, or like different parts needing to be brought together is how that's feeling to me. Okay, so that's one person's energy. The other person's energy here, it kind of feels like whoever this energy is like one step ahead. Is how it was coming through to me, because the cards for this person is the crown chakra and media. So the crown chakra is, of course, above the third eye, right? So it kind of feels like the first energy was third eye focused. This one's more in the crown. So that's sort of the focus for this person. And the media is where a lot of the intuition is coming in, right? So like what you see online or news, or could even be shows or books, like that kind of thing. The media that you consume is where confirmation is, or like messages are coming in, that kind of thing. I feel like though this person here, so they're coming out here with abundance and trees. And so what message was coming through here is that like the phrase like can't see the forest for the trees, especially with the abundance here, because it's kind of like I feel like whoever this person is focused on like again here with like the abundance of trees, right? But it kind of feels like whoever this person is focused on like the details of something, like gets like really focused on one component of something, whatever it is, but they sort of miss out on the bigger picture, is what this is coming through as being. So it's kind of like I feel like for this individual, whoever this is, it's like they're focused on one component of the bigger picture, to the point where it may actually be like having to shift focus, because it's like wanting to see with the discernment here of like almost like taking a step back in order to see the bigger picture. So there's something here about, especially with the geometry card coming out under discernment, there may be something happening more especially with the media as well, right? Like, so maybe there are specific news items that are significant here, but it's also talking about like there may be sort of like planetary kind of significant markers or points or whatever that are significant here. It's kind of like maybe exploring that a little bit, like maybe like looking at bigger picture energies might be a shift in focus, rather than sort of focusing on whatever the small thing was, if that makes sense. But this person's energy, I feel like it's kind of like, so they're coming out here with the Elementalist, which is the King of Swords, which again is all of this sort of like clarity, because sometimes I see the King of Swords as being sort of like seeing things from a higher perspective, especially because of the crown chakra coming out here next. And it feels kind of like this one here is creating a lot of things, perhaps seeing like bigger patterns and things like that. I'm just getting this image here, especially with the sort of like the swirls of energy. I'm getting this image of like a map of the globe. If you're familiar with like wind currents, like how because of the way the world spins, it causes sort of like wind currents that sort of travel in very predictable patterns. I don't know what the name is. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like there's a map like on like NASA sites where you can see how the wind is moving, which is significant for like forest fires and things like that, right? Like how the wind travels. I don't know if that has any particular message for you, but again, it's more so talking about like a bigger picture energy where it's kind of like there may be something happening where it's like there's someone here who's focused on a particular, again, like the tree rather than the forest, right? They're looking at some sort of event or something like that. It's especially with the discernment card, it's kind of like something within your realm of experience here where it's kind of feeling like there's like stuff happening within your immediate environment, but it's actually like something like the wind is blowing it in from further away, if that makes sense, where it's like if there's smoke, right, it's coming from where the wind is blowing from, if that makes sense. So there's something here about like looking at the bigger picture or like almost like zooming out from wherever it is that you are, whatever it is that you're focused on, that may give you a bigger picture into what's happening, if that makes sense. But I feel like whoever this one is, because the composer energy is coming up next. This is the Page of Cups, which is so interesting now that I'm seeing this, because you have here, so you have here the King of Cups and the King of Swords. And then you have here the Page of Swords and the Page of Cups. So same elements, right? Same elements, water and air, but you have the King and the Page for each, and they're swapped on each side. So it's kind of like, how I'm seeing this is like the first person is sort of masterful at the cups energy, right? Like some sort of emotional resilience or control. What they're learning here is the Page of Swords energy, which is kind of like learning how to manifest or learning how to work with the air element, like how to manifest, right? From a place of happiness and love and safety and kindness, right? So it's kind of like the first person is masterful at the cups, emotional energies, and they're learning the air element or some aspect of it anyways. The other person is in the elementalist, which is the King of Swords, so masterful at the air element, and are working on the cups energy, which is the composer. This one comes in with this energy of like being a part of creation or what it is that you're creating, in harmony with it as well, and co-creation. So it's kind of like there's someone here who's, again, feeling kind of like detached from maybe just detached from their environment, or perhaps that's needed in some way, like looking at whatever's going on in their physical environment, like whatever's immediately within their environment or scope of vision, there's some sort of bigger energy around that's causing these changes or causing whatever, if that makes sense. Okay, what we have next for this side, we have here the Orbs and the Unknown. So this is the Strength card and the Judgment card, because I feel like, again, for this side of the reading, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana in a row. So you have Strength, Judgment, the Moon, the World, and the Emperor. In this deck is called the Bridge, Life on Earth, and the Pelican. So it's talking about here with the orbs. I feel like there is also an energy here of like having to do something that requires a lot of strength or courage, especially with the unknown. It's like there's some sort of a new journey or something that's like the wind is blowing you towards something is kind of how it's coming through. Like the wind is changing course, perhaps, or like something like that. Again, it's more so talking to me about like a bigger picture energy where it's like maybe there's like a bigger picture sort of wind blowing. So it's not something that's personal to you. It's more so like a collective energy that's like changing course, especially with the media, where it's like there's adjustments needing to be made or something like that. Here with the moon, the bridge card, this card talks about illusions, right? So it could be that there's like, is that a reflection to me or not? That might be a significant question to ask. So, because that might depend on like what it is that you're seeing. If you're seeing something that perhaps might be indicating a path for you to go towards, or is that a reflection that has nothing to do with you, or is an illusion of some sort? So that will require discernment as well. Again, whenever there's moon energy, I would just like pay attention to how you feel about a certain situation, and always patience and waiting until like the right path becomes clear. And intuition, of course, always with this card. Using your intuition about something, because it could also be something where you're seeing something that seems clear but maybe is not, maybe is an illusion, or that you're not seeing something here with the unknown. Something is unclear but your intuition is telling you to move forward anyway, like that kind of thing. So paying attention to that. And then here, the life on earth. Again, this is the world card, right? Completing some sort of cycle. But again, looking at a bigger picture of something, whatever that means for you. This pelican card is bringing in Saturn energy. Because I know this is the Emperor, which is Mars. But it's also coming through with Saturn, which is like sort of like control and discipline. There may be some sort of path needing to be taken in some, or maybe not path, but it's kind of like whatever is ahead will require control and discipline and structure. It feels more like controlling of oneself as well, because of the Strength card coming out. It's like you have a lot of support, and you are in harmony with the universe, right? It's like whatever path you're on the right path. It's kind of just like someone perhaps maybe got stuck in a particular, I don't want to use the word stuck, became really focused on some sort of task or some sort of like small detail that they weren't looking at the bigger picture, if that makes sense. Because again, here, the last card to end this reading here is the Ten of Pentacles, which is sort of like the forest for the trees, right? Looking at the forest rather than the tree here. I feel it, or like the individual tree. It could also be talking about like you being a tree in the collective forest, right? So it could be something like that, of like maybe shifting a focus from individual to collective kind of energies. It could be something like that, because that's where the crown chakra comes in. So I hope this reading helped to sort of align energies. It kind of feels like, to me, the impression that I was getting was that the first energy that I described was sort of like, if we're just talking about a staircase, one person is on the step below, one person is on the step ahead, and it's kind of like needing to either one person slows down and while the other person catches up, and the other person needs to catch up. That's sort of how it's coming through here. I feel like that's going to help with sort of the aligning of energies, because the overall energy of this reading was that there were two people or two energies that were staggered, right? Like misaligned on different steps. So it's kind of like needing to balance that out a little bit. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.